consistency. And when you don't get to play against these pocket picks very often, if a team runs Victor Hecarim at you, you just don't know how to respond. So I'd expect Vici to take it off the board.
Well, we'll have to see as we do jump into Game 1's champs. Like EP over on the left there, our blue team for Game 1. Vici on the red side. They'll be our red team there as Nidalee gets banned by EP. Victor straight away banned by Vici.
Yeah, and I'm expecting Rek'Sai and Hecarim to be the next couple that come off. They're just very disruptive champions, and as we said, Amazing J plays the Hecarim very well, but Dandy's Rek'Sai is just so good.
Yeah, I think Rek'Sai is a big LPL jungler in general, just fits the style, lets him be aggressive, has so many options, that's why a lot of the top tier junglers like her, but Dandy especially might be the best looking Rek'Sai player in the LPL, so I do like that hit away there if they do go for it. But right now, Azir and Hecarim the next two bans.
Yeah, so Azir being taken away from Hatong, not surprised about that whatsoever. So mid laners might start looking very seriously at the Lissandra pickup. Of course, the other one that sticks out like a sore thumb is the Xerath coming through for both mid laners. So far, only one jungle ban, really. We are expecting the second one, but it's not actually. It's Marta's Janna that gets taken off the board.
Yeah, this is actually another targeted ban that gets thrown a lot at Vici Gaming. I feel like Marta, fantastic players, played the Veigar, played Annie, played Leona, played Thresh, but Janna seems to be, the best of the best as far as his champion pool goes, and a lot of teams respect it and ban it away, and Vici are going to last ban the Veigar.
Yeah, so Veigar being taken off, that's not any surprise on this current patch, just so strong. I like the Janna ban just because it gets rid of all the initiation EP want to bring. They are a pile-in team. You can see with their first pickup in that Gnar straight away. They're looking to team fight early, so get rid of all the disengage. Also allows, I guess, Marta to be on a slower support. It's crazy, but Marta really does fly around the rift. You pair him up with someone like Danny, and they can be everywhere. So nice ban phase coming through, but some good picks coming through on Vici's side.
Yeah, these would be two very strong picks if they do want to go for them, but Vici might even change it up, and Gnar, very strong first pick here for EP. We are going to go for Rek'Sai Graves, though, so Vici can leave both Lissandra and Kassadin still open.
Yeah, so Kassadin up is a big one for Hotong, but also means that Lissandra, Jarvan can fall through, and that's just a huge wombo on the top side of the map. If they want a team fight, I don't think you could get a stronger call than that. Throw a Leona in on support, because I don't know how contested that would be. And you've got a pretty all-in scrappy team. Yeah,
pretty interesting to see that with both Corki and Graves available, Vici want to take Graves now just to make sure. I mean, he's very safe, but EP, they answer well here. Annie and the Ahri going to be the picks for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, we mentioned the Ahri game already from Raphael yesterday. 11, 1, and 10 went absolutely nuts against Rookie, one of the premier mid laners in the LPL. So he can definitely play it. The Annie is something that we see from time to time come through for Shoot. Another initiative support that is so important in the Chinese meta. You have to have these tools that can get in, especially with the flash tippers. And that's a lot of counter engage coming through from Vici now. The Lissandra and Morgana locked in. That's a fantastic amount of anti-dive.
Yeah, just a good amount of, maybe even some engage as well if they want it. So a good all-rounder comp for Vici so far. Lissandra Morg, like you mentioned, going to come through here as well. I think we might actually, they've left the solo lane pick open here with a flex from Lissandra, so I was going to say we might be seeing Lissandra Ahri again.
Yeah, Lissandra Ahri is that weird matchup where Ahri has a very small margin for error, because if she ever misses that charm, just gets tombed up with that ultimate that comes through, and then a lot of lockdown CC and can follow quite well with the Glacial Path. So I like the matchup, but wouldn't be surprised if they took it into Amazing J. Does well early game, but does tend to struggle as Gnar gets tankier.
Yeah, and Drizzle actually wanting a bit more team fight, it seems like. Corki and Jarvan, the last two picks for EP, so Lee Sin is up, but he'll fall through the draft here for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Also, the surprise is that no one in this draft has taken away the Callista that was hovered for a little bit with the Annie, but don't want to take it into the Graves lane, especially with the threat of that being a mid Morgana and being able to take the Leona in. Just would have been an absolute devastating combo.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, Graves and Corki especially, and especially Graves, given how the matchup plays out, I feel like nobody ever wants to pick anything into Graves anymore because he's just so strong.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's that huge lane bully. The surprise, though, is that they're picking Graves with neutral supports. For me, Morgana doesn't win a lane unless you hit those miracle binds, and it's quite a slow skill shot. So I like the Graves pickup, very aggressive, but I just think that if you're going to play Graves, couple it with something a little bit more aggressive. The Thresh is still available, the Leona's still available. We've seen a lot of success in Graves being in these bully lanes.
Yeah, and the last pick, of course, Maokai there as well for carry. So we'll take a nice hardy tank into the top lane to round out the draft. So pretty standard stuff. It almost feels like every game it's just Corki or Graves. Who do you want more?
Yeah, exactly right, and that seems to be the priority. Amazing J versus carry. This will be a very volatile lane. If Na gets ahead whatsoever, we've seen him absolutely dominate that lane in mini Nas form. So hard for Maokai to deal with.
Yeah, and there's the jungle matchup, as well. Dandy, very experienced in this particular matchup, Rek'Sai versus Jarvan, and he's going to be fine. This is interesting. Raphael does have cleanse, by the way, so going to take that defensive choice into the mid Lissandra once more.
Yeah, it's so important to just be able to get rid of that tomb early through the game, especially with a Rek'Sai providing the knock-up, just a devastating combo.
Yeah, and of course, like we mentioned, matchup we'll see a lot today, I'm sure, that Corki versus Graves, and Marta going to take the slightly more defensive Morgana into the aggressive Annie.
Yeah, so Annie really needs to get around the map and help out here. If Marta can set up some deep wards, it puts Shu at a disadvantage, you feel, from the get-go. However, in a 2v2 lane, Corki Annie should be able to win it.
Yeah, and I guess that's an interesting matchup that we'll explore more as we do see the game start off fairly soon here as well, but lots of cool stuff going on here between these two teams, but we do start with a quick pause.
Yeah, just a little bit of a quick pause on the Rift, and across the board, the thing that I'm very interested in this game is both teams have set up in a similar fashion. You've got a very assassin-heavy pick comp mid laner. Of course, Lissandra teamfight's a little bit better than Ahri just because of the two forms of stasis she'll pick up with that Zhonya's Hourglass. But then tanky top lane, skirmish jungler, teamfight, bursty AD carry, as well as a little bit of initiate and counter-initiate in the support. So both teams trying to accomplish the exact same things through the draft. So now it comes down to execution. Who can run their team comp better? Can they get Raphael ahead, or will Hotong run away with this lane?
I mean, yeah, we've definitely looked at the mid laners there, and this matchup in particular, we hopped on it a little bit, but just to rehash, Lissandra does win early, it seems like, with all the wave clear. Of course, like you mentioned, Ahri can't afford to make mistakes, but with the cleanse, a little bit more breathing room, and once she levels up the queue, gets a little bit pushed back towards Ahri's favor.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I think that early, as you mentioned, goes in Lissandra's favor. Mid-game, Ahri is probably the best pick mid laner at the moment, just does a lot of damage as well coming through. Late game, I don't know if there's a better mid laner than Lissandra. Her cooldown is so low, she does so much damage consistently, and then is hard to take out of the fight. The thing about mid laners is they're very easy to tie down and blow up, but with how untargetable she becomes and how she transverses around fights, can get a lot done in her kit in very short amount of time. So I think that late game it is a good matchup.
Well, we'll have to see. Let's get straight onto the Rift. And we are on now as well. Energy Pacemaker versus Vici for our first game of the day here. Vasily back on Graves for what, the 10th time in a row? Something like that.
Yeah, he certainly has been picking it up a lot lately, and we see across the Rift, standard lanes look like they're being approached from both teams. No one really going for that lane swap, so will be, I guess, a very volatile situation if you take the two aggressive carries head to head.
Yeah, and I like that we are going to see standard lanes here, especially with the mid lane, which is probably always going to be standard at this point. But I like that you mentioned Lissandra. I do agree that she's got an amazing amount of utility, but we've seen Lissandra in some comps. Her damage is consistent, but hard to get in there in short range sometimes. And Amazing J just misses the binding.
Yeah, he certainly does. As we have... So we get back in and we see Kane having a little bit of a look around. So AD carry is actually going towards the top side of the map for both teams here. Vici was also able to pick up a first blood there. That went over to Marta in what was a big team fight. Now Kane needs to be careful.
Yeah, a bit of a bloodbath at level 1 there. Kane actually almost flashes back into the binding, but Vasily will join him up now there as well. And Kane down a summoner spell in what is now a 2v2 in the top lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's 3 summoner spells down on the side of Energy Pacemaker's bottom lane. And you see how aggressive Vasily is already, completely zoning off the wave. They've both got their flashes available, Marta and Vasily, so they can play as aggressive as they like.
Yeah, and this is exactly where Vasily wants to be in any given game here. Pick the lane bully, get aggressive, go in, and just make sure you can pick people off.
Yeah, it's exactly what he wants to be doing, and now the wave's pushing in his favor. He can definitely continue to utilize all of the bursts that Graves' early kit provides. One of the best carries just with levels and scales ridiculously well with just flat AD.
Yeah, Shu actually now in trouble. Getting backshotted very low there as well. Is forced to pop the potion and all the early trades going in favor. You mentioned it, when Morgana hits bindings in this lane, Graves just cleans up so well.
Yeah, Morgana's binding really is the turning point of lanes. If she's able to nail people with that, really does put her at a strong advantage. However, normally people can just wait behind the creeps, but how far up Vici was playing meant that that option wasn't available to Kane and Shu.
Yeah, really smart actually. Like you mentioned, Vici already zoning them off creeps, which naturally creates more space for Mata.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see that they keep the pressure on. A little bit of a fast push now coming out, and Kane just trying his darndest to get as much CS under this turret as he can.
Yeah, Vici loves to do this as well. We've seen this from quite a few Graves players in particular. Just going back to the old school Graves style, buckshotting the wave almost on cooldown and just pushing as hard as you can. Yeah,
and the importance of that is to just make sure you have enough, I guess, mana in the end for a smoke screen quick draw, because it does open them up for ganks. Jarvan, one of the better gankers, but of course Mata with that black shield going to afford Vici some luxury of avoiding the CC.
Yeah, and again, going to kind of hold this wave a little bit, slow push it towards it, and then just keep pressuring under the tower and try and make sure Kane misses more CS. It's 12-21 so far, so Vici very far ahead there.
Yeah, exactly right, and they've pinged out the turret. They want to get it going as well. They were just building a second wave up there and making sure that they had as much pressure as possible. As we see Carry in the bottom lane, getting some deep wards down, making sure that he has vision of where the Jarvan is going to be. Doesn't want to be ganked early because of all the CC and damage in Nas kit.
Yeah, Danny actually moving through this jungle fairly quickly. Already got his chilling smite up. Jarvan a couple camps behind looking for his first jungle item here. So Dandy, as expected, farming very well in the early stages.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is such a good farm-heavy jungler. So that good that we saw Kakao yesterday fall in the trap of just wanting to farm with Rek'Sai, and the Lee Sin was able to get ahead as even more action.
Yeah, Shu actually in low there as well. No ulti there for Graves. Only level 3, but the buckshot's already doing plenty of damage, and that might force Shu back home.
Yeah, so one by one, they're just picking on separate members of the Energy Pacemaker bottom lane and shoving them out. This is affording Vici an absolute mammoth lead. He's double the CS, and Dandy now using that to get a bit of a counter jungle going on.
Yeah, tries to seal away the Grump. They can't get it done. Drizzle will clear out the ward as well, and Dandy will have to back off to his own jungle.
Yeah, so you don't want to skirmish a Jarvan early. Just does so much damage with that passive as well as the Q, but now he will be able to sweep out the pink ward, so he's able to get a lot of work done in the top side of the map just because of how aggressive Mata and Vici are playing.
Yeah, the Raptor buff there from smiting that camp away. Actually coming up big there for Dandy, able to clear out a pink ward by sensing it in the area. And Mata even roaming down just to make sure that was okay. But Amazing Jay on the bottom side, in onto Carry as well. Does a lot of good damage, but he'll hit the minions with the next one and wallop down the wave.
Yeah, he certainly will, but Carry's already used the teleport to get into that lane, so he hasn't got the luxury of getting a quick shop in. So Amazing Jay with the range auto attacks will be able to do some damage to this turret. And you have to say, with how hard the lane was being won by Vici, that's been equalized a little bit, now only 5 CS. And Amazing Jay is smashing Carry in that lane.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to ask you. That's almost unexpected, I feel like, with such a safe laner like Maokai.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you would expect him to maybe go the shield in the matchup, not the ring. I feel that's just a greedy first pickup. I think that Doran's shield is the best starting item against the mini Gnar form because he does very low base damage, but it's the consistency that he hits it with and hoping to build up the hyper. So Doran's shield able to block a lot more damage out of there than what ring can.
Yeah, and at this point, Amazing Jay going to come back with his shield, with his Giant's Belt now as well. They're actually going to swap the lanes back to standard lanes now as well. And this could mean that Amazing Jay can continue his reign of terror in the top lane.
Yeah, he certainly will. And Gnar scales with levels better than most top laners, able to get more points into the hyper early. If that is the build that he does go, just means that all of the auto attacks stack up so well. Hasn't gone with an aggressive first pickup, realizes that he needs to be there to shut down this Graves, who's starting to get ahead. Got a pickaxe now to Vici. So I like the build coming out of Amazing Jay, just understanding where his team's at, not getting too caught up with how far ahead he is.
Yeah, and I actually love that fact about Amazing Jay in general. He's very selfless in the way he builds. It's funny, he's a very Carry-esque style top laner, but he always plays usually to be the big front line for his team.
Yeah, he certainly does. We see even more damage in the bot.
Sick binding there by Mata landing, but looks like the forward B is going to come through. Exhaust down onto Kane as well. Shu going to get chased out there. Vici going to look for it. No ulti available, unfortunately, and just some trades. People get low, but no one goes down.
Yeah, and they were taking
Tong does ulti there as well. Drizzle goes down.
Yeah, Amazing Jay coming in with a teleport, though.
Yeah, actually going to move in now. Rock does get thrown out there as well. Tong will dodge the charm, but a good now back into the wall. Lines up the next kill for Raphael. Now Dandy could be in trouble as well. Carry going to get slowed by the boulder, but Amazing Jay is Q Darren. That should be enough for Maokai to get away.
Yeah, but he's just trying to get as much harass down onto this Maokai as possible, force him out of the lane.
Yeah, Minya is so annoying. They're chasing with the bounce as well. The Boomerang's moving in, the Hyper coming in. Amazing Jay doing very well here to kite it off, and Raphael diving in there with a Foxfire, just missing the last one, but will flash for the kill.
Yeah, and that was just great persistent damage coming through from Amazing Jay, and understanding his kit, he was in such an advantage against Maokai because Maokai couldn't have the choice of going back in because where Raphael was positioned, and just a persistent threat out of the Mini-Gnar. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, just getting hyper, throwing boomerangs, nice beating up. He's so good at chasing in long chases like that.
Yeah, he certainly is. That hyper just comes up so big, especially with the transform coming through. It gives him back that added passive on his Q. So really nice play from the top side of the map, turning a bad situation, a good invade coming through from Vici, but able to get back ahead.
Yeah, things going to settle down a little bit here as well as we see Shu returning to the bottom side. Now mobility boot's done for this Annie, so looking just fine here. And only 2 for 2, a couple kills traded back, and the gold very even still.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the CS lead has started to, I guess, normalize around that margin. So it's not getting too far out of hand for the bottom lane at this point. And you have to say that Vici, with how far the bottom lane was ahead, you might have thought a little bit more attention would go down there.
Yeah, we saw it earlier, but all the bullying just couldn't quite get them over the edge. Kane, though, has gone emergency double Doran, so maybe that's what Vici will take away as a win there from that particular lane matchup, but we'll have to see. I mean, Corki, we've seen it. As soon as he hits that Trinity Force, as long as he gets it in decent timing, doesn't really matter if it's super late.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. And I like the double Dorans because it gives him a little bit more lane pressure, but he's still struggling very hard against this Martyr. And Shu, he's recognized bottom lane a little bit of a lost cause, picks up the fast mobies, might be looking to get around the map and impact other lanes.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Annie do it before at, level 2, level 3. We've seen a lot of aggressive roaming Annie, so Shu does have options here. Could maybe look to the mid side to help out Raphael, but right now everyone is playing fairly safe, maybe thinking about their first dragon soon.
Yeah, the tunnel network coming through from Dandy is very impressive at this point of the game. He hasn't got himself a CS advantage, but he is in a position where if he wants to, he can put the next couple of respawns of his jungle on very quick cooldown with how he will be able to fly around there with that upgraded Chilling Smite. So like where he's at, but Amazing J, he's still doing work in the top lane.
Yeah, he's getting aggressive and actually might be transitioning to a Phage here to kind of snowball the advantage at his build. I like the longsword Ruby Crystal there as well. I mean, he was going tanky first off, but I do love the Phage timing here.
Yeah, maybe it's a Phage. Maybe he's going for a little bit of a Hex Drinker into a Warmogs as well. That's a very good early power spike, especially against a double AP. It's pseudo double AP, and Graves doesn't deal with Warmogs very well, just because of the fact that got a bit of persistent damage, where it's more about the upfront burst. So we'll see what he transitions into here. A good sneak dragon on the timing of the enemy jungler here coming out of Dandy, so he'll be able to pick that one up, and they won't really know when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Vici's bottom lane as well. So much pressure being put out there that Dandy knows it's very safe for him to take the dragon. Also, Hetong can always threaten in transition with the ulti, so very smart stuff by Vici Gaming.
Yeah, so Vici able to pick up the first major objective, but gold has normalized across the map, and whilst Graves a little bit ahead, Corki, as long as he gets that Trinity Force spike, will be okay. And you think maybe it is in the favor of them to keep this Maokai down. He's behind 20 CS, and you much rather have a very fed top lane tank to deal with these low threat AD carries and not tank busters than what you would, I guess, equal as AD carry in this. Because as I said, Kane will do his job.
Yeah, he will. And Amazing Jay's kind of looking to maybe bully the lane a little bit more, finally finish his longsword item of choice. It is Phage this time around, and with the CS lead that he's building, he can start continuing to bully his Kane down the bottom. Actually going to get aggressed on by Vasily. Mata doesn't find a line for the binding, and Drizzle's down here as well, actually.
Yeah, Drizzle now recognizing that he needs to get a little bit of pressure in there. Kane's in kill territory, so just looking to see if he can get any action. Not able to do so. A very good ward in that brush. Spots out exactly what Shu was trying to do over the wall as well with the flash tibbers coming through. So a little bit safer. And the Phage pickup, that's interesting. That means maybe they're trying to split push a little bit more. Don't want a team fight against this and need Gnar to get going and really be able to take down these turrets, push out the waves.
Yeah, he's doing well so far though, as Dandy will clear out the Scuttercrab. Drizzle going to check for vision and get the bad news on Dragon there. Unfortunately, it's already been taken out by Vici at a pretty standard time, to be fair, but was just soloed away by Rexos. As you said, just doesn't need to be in any lanes, farming the jungle here, power farming even.
Yeah, getting ahead a little bit in CS, able to pick up that big objective, and now just controlling the top side of the map vision-wise throughout the river. And you can see they're trading. This is maybe my one criticism of Vici. They ward up the whole of the map, even though they're not pressuring any of it. So they're using it very defensively, and they're not really securing that much of a lead. On the other side, you see that they're trying to get eyes on Dandy before he leaves the jungle. So they've got two very deep wards in the jungle. So they know when he leaves, or they can just assume if he's not spotted on that side of the map, he's on the top side. So they know where he is through lack of vision, as opposed to trying to light up every single area and always have eyes on the enemy members, you don't really need that.
Yeah, Moby beats Annie, threatening pretty aggressively there as well. Mata actually going to get a bit of gold there from Shu as the tormented. So it comes down. Raphael posturing forward there in the mid as well, trying to pick up a kill. Morellonomicon's been completed by both mid laners. So that aggression that we talk about, the volatility of this lane is starting to really come into full effect now.
Yeah, and now you see Dandy, he's in his jungle at the Gromp, and you see straight away, Raphael completely controlled, walks into the top side of his mid lane because he understands the jungler is not there anymore unless he hears the scream come out. He knows, even though they haven't got consistent eyes on Dandy, exactly where he is because that's where he left the jungle.
And it's funny that overwarding would be Dandy's problem because he is known for always showing up in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of the confusion that comes through for this team because you can see that they're 200 gold up, but they've just invested so much more in vision. They've lit up the complete control of the map. They've got 3 wards on top side and 5 wards on the bottom side. It's absolutely huge how much gold they're putting into this.
I mean, and that was one of our earlier criticisms, like you mentioned, of them early on in the LPL, where they just did a little too much warding. It sounds like a silly thing, but you can certainly ward too much. Like that 200 gold that you mentioned, that's probably mostly wards.
Yeah, exactly right at this point because the Sightstone isn't being picked up from the jungler as well. That is all wards at this point, so coming through there, they need to make something work off it. They got the first dragon, you have to say, through good denial of vision. So maybe that's what they're hoping for. Drag the game out late, but pick up the neutral objectives along the way through good vision control.
Little dangerous to maybe drag the game out against the Nara, especially because Amazing Jay's still having a great lane there in the top side. And Kane still keeping competitive. Actually went for a quick Sheen in this bottom lane, so couldn't go for the phage that he wanted, but just trying to make sure he can last hit minions as best he can.
Yeah, and that was just because he was a little bit further behind, so he doesn't want the persistent trades. He wants a quick phosphorus spawn auto attack when Vici gets caught going for some creep. So agree with the build coming out. Drizzle once again looking towards the bot lane. He wants to make something work down here.
Yeah, he's got his Sightstone there as well. Vasily actually a very good timing for the ward. The Black Shield, though, does not quite get broken by Tibbers. And Shu there looks for the stun and can't get it now in the mid lane. Amazing Day poured it into the mid side. Raphael going to dive back in there. Can't line the first chamber. They're still going through. Amazing Day doing so much work. The cleanser there by Raphael. A great W there by Hatong, who's going to dive back in. Amazing Day tries to bounce on top of Raphael. Somehow finishes him off.
Yeah, able to nail him. And over the back, Drizzle picks up another kill. So we're 2 for nothing coming through. What a play out of the top side of the map. Energy Pacemaker dictating flow of the game.
Yeah, and that was a Flandre level teleport there by Amazing Jay. So well timed.
Yeah, and Carry didn't have his available, so there wasn't even the choice to follow out of the top lane. Have to say maybe a little bit of a misplay, but let Raphael take care of the kill 1v1. It was very close, but hey, they pulled it off.
Yeah, very well played there. And now in the bottom lane, that's probably the worst news here for EP. And again, Kane is fine. Just don't get hit by a binding. Vasily's already used his ulti. Shu actually going to stun up there as well. And very good trade there by the Annie.
Yeah, get some good harass out there, trying to normalize this lane a little bit further. But now the pressure off, as we see the replay of this, missing the charm, but Amazing Jay just stays with these little skirmishes in the midi Narf for as long as possible. Nice cleanse. You see that summoner spell coming out here, and good heads-up play from a Hatong trying to follow through, but that passive and dangerous game just allows him to survive. And then the dunk. It's so satisfying to just take out the opposition jungler with that huge cataclysm.
Yeah, good cleanup there coming through for Drizzle. So 4-2 now in favor of Energy Pacemaker. 1,000 gold ahead, actually, and Dragon is back in 12 seconds.
Yeah, so they've built themselves a little bit of a advantage, and you have to say their spikes have come at a better time. Needlessly large rod to a Negatron cloak is definitely in the favor of the Ahri, as well as that massive Trinity Force picked up. Not even the IE completed, so whilst Vasily is ahead, doesn't have the same power in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, even Amazing Jay in the top lane with his phage, now is almost a random completed and a Spectre Skull, so he's good to go for early game taking this, but Vici beat EP to the punch, not clean up the second dragon.
Yeah, and that was just better understanding of the back timers. I don't think Energy Pacemaker are going to be too concerned about the dragons until it gets to number 3 or 4. However, they would like to pick up that first one with all the flat AP that is coming out of the Ahri.
Yep, and I mean, the first one's always good. They'll try and get it done, and Marta now going to move back towards the bottom side as well. Raphael moving in towards the mid as well. There, like you mentioned, does have the need to see a large rod, possibly a Rabadon's coming through for Raphael if he wants more flat damage, but I would guess Azoni's just for a bit more teamfight presence.
Yeah, normally you would expect Azonius to come through here, but he has been playing extremely aggressive in the last couple of games, so maybe not going for something along those lines. I would like the aggressive pickup, because if his team needs a carry, it's definitely him at this point. Kane's still a little bit far far behind.
Yeah, and that was sort of the other point that I wanted to highlight when we looked at these two mid laners as the people that were really setting up in this game, because they've both been playing fantastically recently. I feel like we've seen quite a bit of Lissandra versus Ari, and for me, yes, Lissandra's great late, but her biggest issue is getting in and doing her damage because she's so short range.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the thing is that Charms can just hit you from anywhere, and Ari can destroy most mid laners through that CC, so you don't really get a chance to shrug it off. And with the aggressive summoner spells coming through, the Flash and the Ignite doesn't have the luxury of the cleanse that Raphael will have in the mid lane, so definitely less margin for error, but if it is executed properly, it should be in the Lissandra's favor. We're just not seeing that at the moment.
Amazing Jay forcing the flash out there from Carry as well. Just so much pressure being applied on the top side. Gonna get the tower as well. Now gonna swap back into Mini-Gnar and start hitting down the minions. And Carry has just been completely just destroyed in this lane.
Yeah, he certainly has 40 CS. That is nothing to scoff at. And the fact that the Randuins, as well as maybe a Banshee's Veil, are going to be picked up relatively soon. This Gnar is really rolling at this point, and the problem with the Graves and the Corkis, they're not tank busters. He's not going to be able to shred through that, especially not with the build that Vasily's gone at the moment. So he's in a little bit of danger of maybe having to fight against a person he can't really beat.
Yeah, and it's funny that Vasily's going for this build as well. Vasily does not normally do this on Graves. He's much more snowball. He usually loves to hit the BT first and go in and rotate with his team. But Kane right now with his Trinity Force, he's doing all the turret damage.
Yeah, exactly right. He's able to shove in nice and quickly using those Sheen procs with the missiles as he continues to try and poke Hotong out. But Hotong's split pushing is pretty good at this point in the game, so he's just looking to get some advantages. They've rotated Vasily into the mid lane to see if he can pressure another turret. Once again, though, Ari, now that it's picked up the death cap, not going to be bullied around at all. No,
I actually like the rotation there from Vici, though. Kind of recognizing that Vasily needs to get somewhere else, start helping group with his team and try and take out some turrets. Doesn't have the BT that would maybe want in the situation, and both mid laners actually for these teams actually are quite good at split pushing.
Yeah, they actually both are very good split pushers coming through, and more importantly, both destroy ADs if they're able to find them alone on a particular area of the map. And we see a little bit of control over the bottom side. Shu trying to get some vision for his team, but Amazing Jay just continuing this reckless onslaught in the top lane.
Yeah, he's finished the Randuin, now as well. He's so big. I mean, it's kind of weird to talk about a tank champion like now and call him ahead and like really big, but when you have a super tank, like you mentioned, when you don't have tank busters on the enemy team, if they have a big 5v5 team fight, Amazing Jay is going to run all over Vici.
Yeah, he certainly is at this point in the game, and the flat damage that comes out of the Mega Gnar form is just absolutely huge. And we see a little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane.
Yeah, Vasily could be in trouble. Amazing Jay going to bound in there as well, but a great binding there from Mata. Forced to flash over the wall. Raphael wants to chase him. Good juke though, but Drizzle just going to dunk him there, flashing over the wall.
Yeah, the dunk and the auto attack passive coming through massive. That's a second cleanup coming through, and that's the danger of split pushing with your team fight top lane. Mid lane, and not going to work.
Carry, they're going to stunned up there as well by Annie. The bear will chase him in as well. Drizzle still doing damage. Danny and Vasily will come in, but Raphael gets the kill. Collateral damage comes through, but it's not enough to kill Annie. Hotong will dive in the back. A great stun though coming in. A good flash W. The ulti to Raphael. He cleanses out, but he gets cleaned up by Dandy. Amazing Jay though coming in on top, and Dandy is, oh no, gets the kill. Looks like he's going to go down though. Annie, a great double there for Rek'Sai, but Drizzle's going to chase him out. They're still running though. Dandy pretty fast actually, and Amazing Jay in his melee form can't quite chase that well. Dandy might have escaped.
Yeah, might look to get away here, although the oh, he does it with the ultimate. Fantastic play out of Dandy, able to pick up a return kill as well amongst all of that. So really nicely done by the Vici jungler.
Awesome stuff there coming through for Dandy. Does get the double and gets straight out here. We talked about it, Dandy, whether it's a big carry jungler or, something a little more versatile and a bit more utility based like Rek'Sai. Dandy's just playing fantastically all game long.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's 2-1-2. He's still up in CS, so he's doing his job extremely well coming through in this matchup, and he really is a shining light along with Vasily at the moment. Vasily hasn't got any of those kills, but has picked up some good CS for himself, moving into that static shiv, and we saw the amount of upfront burst damage that came through from that Grave Buckshot collateral damage combo into that brush. If he can nail the whole squad like that and not able to, I guess, have to worry about the Gnar, he's in a good position to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, we have Dragon coming up now in about 35 seconds. Is this the best time for Vici to want to pick and engage here? Because EP have picked up quite a few items since the last few Dragons.
Yeah, I think that Vici right now don't really mind. If they can sneak it away, they definitely will take it. However, they don't have to fight because they've got the luxury of having picked up the first two. So That's still a 30-minute window. The game has to go for 50-odd minutes for Energy Pacemaker to really threaten with that 5-dragon buff now. So Vici aren't in a position where they're overly concerned with that snowballing out of control.
Are they maybe worried about getting outscaled in this situation? Because again, we've talked up Amazing J in this game, and he's very tanky at this stage.
Yeah, they certainly, I guess, in the back of the mind, they have to worry about the Gnar, but as it gets to the late game, it's more about playing around that transform and allowing Maokai to be the superior tank when he's in mini Gnar form. Yeah. As soon as Amazing J transforms, he has the edge, but in the small windows when he's not in that form, Maokai is a fantastic late game tank in his own right.
Yeah, and I think the thing you hit there just perfectly is Maokai is consistently a big tank, whereas Mega Gnar has to go back and forth between the forms.
Yeah, exactly right. And it looks like now Vici have pulled this one out, making EP choose between whether they want a team fight or not, and Energy Pacemaker a little bit late.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a gold lead here, but Amazing J has no rage to speak of. He's going to dive in. Dandy gets the first dragon. Tom going in the back, but he kind of gets blown to pieces. Ult himself at the last second, and Raphael getting dived there as well, but good knockups coming in. Drizzle doing so much interference in the backside there. Amazing J gets the kill onto Vasily. There's another one. It's actually 4-0 already. Hatong just getting out.
Yeah, and I take it back. That was a one-team fight, 4-0. With no Mega Gnar. Amazing J providing a good tank line threat just as a mini version. But Drizzle nailed 3 members in his Cataclysm. Horrible positioning coming out of Vasily, and probably got blown up way quicker than his team would have liked in that situation.
Yeah, Drizzle coming back in there as well. It's just going to be around to look, maybe smite. It actually already has smited the Baron. So going to use the 2 here, potentially in the 15-second cooldown with the charges. Dandy not around to steal it though, so a very safe Baron for EP.
Yeah, and now Energy Pacemaker with a 5,000 gold advantage off a very good one-team fight and that big Baron buff. 3 dragons over to Vici, so they're in the driver's seat in that regard, but you don't want to be in a position where you're just praying for that 5th buff.
No, and EP, who had maybe 1,000 gold ahead, have just jumped ahead in gold now. What, 3,000-4,000 gold up now?
Yeah, so they're in a very good position. We see all the items coming through. 2,000 gold to be spent by the mid laner. He's going to be able to pick up his boots too, potentially. Maybe we'll even decide to go towards another needlessly large rod.
Maybe. I mean, has an elixir actually as well. So finishing the void stuff, 3 items up now. Very aggressive choices by Raphael.
Yeah, that's a hugely aggressive choice, and not, I guess, all of that much MR coming through. I mean, you have the Abyssal Scepter, but that's really it. A Banshee Veil on the jungler. Maybe just doesn't want to get to the point where he's committed to the Zhonya's Hourglass, and there really is a lot of MR starting to come through. And Corki, with that Blade of the Ruined King, we haven't seen that be the popular build as of late. They've tended to prefer Bloodthirsters, but you can see with a Rek'Sai diving on you, with a Maokai diving on you, Blade of the Ruined King, definitely a good choice if you want to kite.
Yeah, Kane just wants to be safer. He's, like you mentioned, the consistent damage threat in this comp. Raphael can kind of deal the rest of the damage, and EP have plenty of interference to run. Drizzle actually does have a locket done now as well, so going to help a lot against Lissandra. Amazing J still getting aggressive, just chasing everybody down.
Yeah, very little cares coming out of Amazing J at this point in the game. We saw him survive a team fight as mini Gnar. If he gets a transform in one of them, it's going to be even worse news. And you see that they're just so happy to siege down with all of this range carries. They've even sent their mid laner into the bottom lane to help deal with that. And the response from Vici is a kind of weak split push with a Righteous Glory Maokai, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to get the other tower? Baron Minions helping up so much here, and this is a great split by EP. Just an amazing rotation to make sure they take as many turrets as possible. But Dandy, I think he's looking for a flank. He fires the Pacemaker and does see Drizzle.
Yeah, but Amazing J, once again, transforms at the right time, means that they can't engage onto it in the bottom lane. They're getting even more work done.
Yeah, Kane even moving in, going to try and get the Sheen procs down as well. Can they take the tower in time? Hatong get a threat in there. Kane gets locked up. Massive damage there by Hatong as he ults himself, but Mata gets low there. Maokai going to get the kill on the Corki though in the back, and Vici fighting back strong here with 1 kill already. That's 2 for 1 now actually in favor of EP as well, and they're going to keep chasing in. Shu kiting back and forth, but Carry locks him up. Charm going to land in there as well. Raphael trying there as Drizzle in the back does kill Vasily. Carry doesn't do that much damage, does get the kill into Annie, but a clean ace completed. 5 for 2 EP.
And I never thought I would say this, but Amazing J is better in mini Gnar forms in team fights than he's in Mega Gnar form. He completely whiffed his ultimate, only nailed the Maokai as the tank, but then as soon as he transformed into mini Gnar, he completely took over the fight with so much raw damage coming through there. Couple in the fact that no one can pin Raphael down. Drizzle. Yeah. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I think they meant Amazing J in the Mega Gnar form to tank that one up, but unfortunately Drizzle will get executed.
Yeah, so he'll get taken off the map there, and that does stop the push a little bit. But the most important inhibitor of the game falls at this point, the bottom. That means that the next Baron becomes even easier. The mid lane turret also has absolutely no health left on it. So what a fantastic early game coming out of Energy Pacemaker, and they transitioned it so well through the mid.
Yeah, they really did. And again, it's sort of adding to the fact that when they've looked good, they've looked great as a team here. And they haven't even thrown out that many curveballs this game. I think Amazing J's which is a standard champion, maybe the only curveball he actually has completed a Trinity Force.
Yeah, so he's gone for that Trinity Force, and why not? He's at the point where two I guess, defensive items are going to mean that he's nearly unkillable in these fights anyway. So he wants to be a damage threat, and I guess the Corki got behind a little bit early game, now caught up with those two big damage items himself, but Amazing J just means that now he can't be ignored in the fight. It's not all about his CC. He's going to do some serious damage.
Yeah, and this is what I like about Amazing J as a player. Always knows his role, commits to whatever his team needs in the early stages, but can transform into a carry top laner if he needs to.
Yeah, and he certainly has done that this game. 6-0-9, and absolutely smacked carry about in lane. So you have to think that he's put his team in a very good position to carry. Sure, in the mid lane, they played fantastically well, as well around Raphael. However, that top lane was what really got the snowball starting.
Yeah, I mean, Kane's just playing catch-up all game, and he's in a decent position now. Hatong just gets away as True throws a ward into the brush, but Energy Pacemaker, next Dragon up in 40 seconds. Vici, going to be very difficult for them to contest.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that's surprising me the most is how, I guess, more affected Drizzle has looked than Dandy, and Dandy got his Rek'Sai. Drizzle's got 14 kill participations out of 17 for his team. Sure, Dandy's been involved in 100% of his team, but really hasn't been able to start things up. Drizzle has been more of a cleanup squad, but has been in the right place at the right time, and that's generally what we compliment Dandy for.
Yeah, Amazing J going to move in there as well. Again, posturing very aggressively on what's now a bruiser knife here. Gets the double boomerang, and he's just zoning everybody off.
Completely zoned them away from Dragon, so now they have to make the hard choice. Do they commit to the mid lane push and try and get them away from that objective, or do they give up the first Dragon for Energy Pacemaker for free? And it looks like they've completely given it away. Amazing J going to be able to zone continually throughout this, and Kane will just take it by himself.
Yeah, Raphael even rotated in to just clear out the mid wave for himself. So EP are going to move in. Dragon getting very low already. Dandy might entertain a steal. He goes in, knocks up on a Kane there, but in the back, Drizzle diving again. A Raphael now looking for the flank, gets exhausted. Shu there getting the stuns up. Alessandro gets the first kill onto Jarvan. Dandy off the side there as Raphael's kiting all of the carries of Vici. Gets the next kill though, gets away as well. And EP are just going to run through Vici now. Double kill for Corki. Carry going to make it a triple, and Vasily has to run home.
Yeah, and this is absolutely ridiculous. Amazing J in mini Nam form has just gone nuts in another team fight, actually teleporting into the base now to try and finish off this game. He's had a stellar performance, and he's done it in a way I've never seen Na'Vi play.
Yeah, basically carrying his team on what is, a little Teemo almost there in the mini now form. Such a strong performance here. Shu going to rotate in as well. Amazing J will headbutt the turrets up. Vasily has to be careful, gets Nard into the wall. Amazing J actually just going to solo him here almost as he runs back to the fountain, although the rest of Vici are available. EP still trying to get the towers done. Kane's here as well. The Nexus is exposed, but Amazing J has to run away. Gets knocked up, still alive somehow after all that. Energy Pacemaker might be able to close the game.
Yeah, looking like they're just going to back out of that. Don't want to overcommit and give something away. Kane's been caught.
Oh yeah, the ulti does come through. Kane though, QSS is out of the ulti. Still taking too much damage over. Vasily going to get low, but not going to fall.
Yeah, and on the backside, Dandy picking up some exit kills.
Good ulti there as well. Raphael now trying to cut away, but Carry should be able to lock down the Ahri. There's the Q. Tong follows in, and Carry picks up the next kill. So 3 kills actually, and the 4th Dragon now for Vici.
Yeah, so if Vici can stall this game out for another 5 minutes, the 5th Dragon threat will be there, because they're going to be able to pick up their 4th of the game unless the Miracle Steal comes through.
Insane stuff as well. To think that the Nexus was exposed there, and EP almost had the game won. Drizzle hunting in the back, wanting the steal, but he's too late.
Yeah, so the 4th Dragon coming through for Vici Gaming. Maybe the hope is still alive. That is what they will definitely be holding on to. They're going to contest the next one at all costs, you would have to feel. And the problem is just the discrepancy throughout the teams. They don't have the same amount of power in these fights. They're fighting with knives, and at this point, Amazing J is bringing bazookas. He's nearly finished up another giant belt item.
Yeah, it might even be a Sunfire cape just for a bit of extra damage. But Vici on the Baron here. Shu and Drizzle have found them out. They know what's up. They're going to go in. Drizzle really wants to see. He's going to try and kill Vasily. Almost gets it done. The Baron not getting too long. Vasily, beautiful quick draw over the wall to keep him safe. Drizzle actually gets 1 kill. Amazing J is in it now as well. Drizzle is still alive thanks to a clutch locket. And the Baron's going to go to EP.
Yeah, so EP completely swing it back in their favor. You like the idea coming out of Vici there. They understood that they maybe had to go for something desperate to win it. Otherwise, they were just going to use the Baron up creeps to push into the mid lane for free and take down the second inhibitor. But comes back, bites some energy Pacemaker, clean up another fight. And now with 20-second death timers, how do they defend this base?
I mean, they're going to try for a win here, so we'll see as they push in. Amazing J going to really rip through the structures with his Trinity Force as well. Raphael even got a Banshee's Veil done here. His own energy Pacemaker. No defense force coming from Vici. Death time is a little too long, but Silly gets gnawed into the wall there coming in as well. And Kane is just taking out the Nexus.
Yeah, so the Nexus falls in energy Pacemaker's favor, and what a game coming through. 6-11 in the mid laner, but really it was all about Amazing J's Nah. 6-1, 14, 20 out of 24 kill participation. And he was doing some silly damage.
He was going in, man. Like, Amazing J, it's so funny to think of a top laner that was vaunted almost as we moved into the LPL. We'd heard whisperings of how good this guy was. There's apparently a Church of Amazing J open somewhere you can worship him. And after that game, the church is going to be celebrating.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you take a look at it, wow, damage done that game. Amazing J on the tank Nah pulls out top damage stats Delta champions for his team. He went completely nuts. And Vici, I don't think they would have been expecting that out of the top lane.
And again, the crazy thing for me was Amazing J just played it normal, you know, got ahead in his lane against the Marco, which he does have a bit of bully potential in, crept up a lead, built tanky, ready to team fight, had some good fights. Oh, wow, I'm amazingly ahead. Here's a Trinity Force. Like, he did it so smoothly.
Yeah, exactly right. And he didn't really come up with any stellar plays. Like, there was nothing in there that completely blew your mind. He was just very consistent, stuck with the ganks that he got given, and then really used his teleport to fantastic effect.
Yeah, I mean, teleports were on point there as well. Amazing J, known for pretty crazy teleports as a general thing, but they were a thing of beauty in that match.
Yeah, they certainly were, and I guess a lot of credit has to go to the bottom lane as well. Kane and Shu, they stuck with a very bad lane, and what was I guess, first blood went into their lane, and all kinds of things were going wrong, but they were able to equalize the lane, and in the end, Kane even came up pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Raphael Zari as well probably won't be getting that again.
Yeah, no, definitely not. That's 2 games out of the last 2 that has been available that he's actually absolutely smashed the lane opponents with.
And the Blue Shot continues fighting first place. They're Vici Gaming down a game now, but don't go anywhere.